give this a shot here. Can you hear me now? All right.
Gotcha.
First of all, hats off to the tech guys. I mean, this is tough to do under the best of circumstances. To do it under the fly is a big deal. So, as somebody who used to do the AV at church, I totally appreciate everything you guys are doing. So, thank you guys. And there was a few years here where we've been here where we didn't have to worry about a microphone at all. So the fact that all of you guys are out here is a testament to the fact that we have turned a corner in our country and in our state where we're willing to go off and assert our rights. I see this every single year, but it is so true. If we do not assert our rights, there are plenty of people that are out there that will take those rights from us. You have to assert those rights. And it's not just Second Amendment rights. It's not just the Michigan Article 1, Section 6, right to bear arms in self-defense. It is all of our rights. And I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the media lately here, but there's a bit of a kerfuffle going on around the new social studies standards. How many of you guys have been reading about that? I had the audacity of trying to make sure that our kids were instructed in and this is the way the Democrats respond to it, by the way. Yeah. I wanted to make sure our kids had a balanced view of history and an accurate view of our system of government. We are a constitutional republic. We are not a democracy. And the very suggestion of that gets sirens going. So it actually is very entertaining. They've got issues around the use of the term core democratic values. I said we're not a democracy. We should be talking about what our core values are as Americans, and you're not going to be pushing one political party over another. And for taking those stands, all the Democrats are on a tizzy because all of a sudden, all these decades of indoctrination that they've been doing in our kids, where they've been going off and saying the Second Amendment is right to bear arms if you're in a militia, that's what they're trying to teach people in some standards. It's not. They're redefining what our Constitution says, they're redefining our system of government, and for the first time in decades, we have a proposal before the people of Michigan and ultimately before the State Board of Education that actually is going to make sure that our kids get an accurate view of our history and an accurate view of our civics and an accurate view of social studies. What a concept. Yeah, unfortunately, you're just talking about socialist studies. Do you realize that 65% of the students that are graduating now believe that socialism is better than capitalism? I don't think they've seen the end of the story. Now, I've been over in the Soviet Union when I was working on the space program with Boeing. I've been over in areas where they are at the end of the road that some of these people want to take us down. And you know what the first thing they always try to do is take away your guns, right? So the fact that you guys are out here, yeah, and healthcare too. You're right to healthcare. I've been over in East Germany before they were reunified with West Germany. Actually, I was there right during the reunification. It was kind of funny because when I flew back from Dresden to Frankfurt, they didn't know if it was international or domestic. And they lost my bags, but who'd believe it? But when I went in there, the people in those environments were kept at bay. I flew into Dresden Airport, there's MiG-21s lining the tarmac, you go into the center of town, there's a Soviet barracks compound. They were the ones with the guns, the people didn't have the guns. So the reason we have our Second Amendment is not so that we can go off and do hunting and everything else that the liberals like to talk about. Of course we want to be able to enjoy that right as well. It is because the power remains in the people. We are about we the people. So, as we look forward in this governor's race, I've got a track record of standing up for your constitutional rights across the board. I'm an advocate of constitutional carry. There aren't any... It's not very complicated. Our Constitution is very complicated. We all talk about what's going on in our schools nowadays, but you look at what happened in Parkland, and you look at what happened in Maryland, two completely different scenarios. In Parkland, the guy in charge of school safety, Coach Heiss, used himself as a human shield because he wasn't able to go off and carry in that school. Lots of people died as a result, including Coach Heiss. What happened in Maryland? We had a school resource officer who was armed. And the press picked that up for a day and then dropped it. Parkland, we're still talking about. They don't want to talk about what really works. The fact of the matter is 98.7% of these mass killings, mass shootings, occur in gun-free zones because the bad guys don't like to be fired back at. So I'm thankful we got a bunch of good guys here that realize that the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. So thank you for asserting our constitutional rights. Thank you for the gentleman that was just here earlier. That gives me hope for our future generations that they're not buying the hooey that's been pushed, where if you bite into a Pop-Tart the wrong way, you need to be suspended from school. All right, we got some good kids coming up through the system here. And the fact that you guys are out here giving them encouragement, giving me encouragement, giving legislators like my good friend Jeff Noble encouragement, and also Representative Steve Johnson's out here as well. Please give them your support in the upcoming election. The alternative is not good, guys. We have to retain people that are appreciative of our Constitution. God bless and thank you for making this a big success today. Knock 'em alive, everybody.